What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with Astrodfs bringing you a brand new video. Today's video, I'm going over the $1 million contest for Week 6's main slate. This is just a first look. This is not going over any matchups, really, or plays for that matter. I'm going over players and their matchups, just not really cash plays and stuff like that for you to necessarily play right away. So let's just go in position by position, look at what we have. And then see the matchups, and then later in the week I'll try to get another video out of some plays to actually do once injury news and all that breaks forward. If you guys do find this video helpful by the end, please leave a like and subscribe. That means a lot to me, but let's get into it. So, quarterbacks, we have 3 above 8K. We have Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen on this slate. We have Lamar Jackson on this slate. This is going to be a good slate. Whenever you have these guys all on a main slate, it is going to be a juicy one. And the biggest thing is you have Buffalo against Kansas City. Like, I am hyped just thinking about this game. If you remember the playoffs and you remember what Josh Allen and that Buffalo team did and what Kansas City did, I mean, both offenses just, they really showed why Mahomes and Allen are the future of the NFL. And getting to see them play on a main slate, like, this should be a prime time game, like game of the year type game. But it's not, and we're getting them on the main slate, so we're going to talk about that. So Josh Allen, Lamar, Patrick Mahomes. Obviously, if you're going to go a quarterback, Josh Allen, 8,200 against Kansas City. Mahomes is 8K against Buffalo. And then Lamar's 81, so a $200 difference. It's not a huge thing of quarterback talent right there. You're talking literally, I mean, a few hundred, if that you're saving. So, all 3 of them, I mean, obviously I would say Josh Allen has the best matchup, but Kansas City's defense is not as terrible as we once remembered. Buffalo's defense is doing exactly the same thing they did last year, being a top 5 defense. And Lamar is facing a much improved Giants defense. The Giants are finding a way to win games. I don't know how, but they are. And if the Giants continue to do what they do and somehow put up points against teams, Lamar's going to have to put up points too. So all 3 of those guys are going to have some interesting matchups. Looking at it now, Kyler Murray against Seattle is going to be an interesting one there. It's a $700 pay drop from the top 3. And he's got a fairly good matchup against Seattle. Definitely looking at the injury news there. I know that they are supposed to get DeAndre Hopkins back their next game. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do against Seattle. And Geno Smith is doing some very interesting things there in Seattle. He's making Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf top fantasy options this year. So I think that's a good price and very good matchup. Joe Burrow, 67 against New Orleans. It's not the greatest matchup. But we saw what Seattle was able to do to that New Orleans defense, and if that's the case, anything's possible right now. With $6,700, $600 drop-off between Murray and Burrow. Tom Brady's facing the Pittsburgh defense, which got slaughtered by Buffalo. But Brady's offense hasn't looked the cleanest, so we'll see. Brady threw a lot. Just really quickly, just to throw it out there, look at Brady's pass attempts the last 2 weeks. He's thrown 104 pass attempts the last 2 games, and he only threw 1 touchdown last week against Atlanta. That's crazy. Something to look at. Matt Stafford, 62 against Carolina. It's not the greatest matchup, and that Rams offense is not anything near what they were supposed to be. Aaron Rodgers, 6,100 against the Jets. I think that's actually going to be an interesting one, and I'm interested to see where the ownership goes for Rodgers. Kirk Cousins, 6K against Miami. That's going to be one to watch for with the injury news of who was Miami's quarterback is going to be. But 6K for Kirk Cousins against Miami. Geno Smith getting some respect price-wise, up to 5,700 against Arizona, one of the worst pass defenses in the league right now. Trevor Lawrence, 56 against the Colts. We saw what he did a couple weeks ago. We'll see if that happens again. That's going to be one to watch for. I don't really love it that much, but they did pull out the win. Garoppolo, 5,500 against Atlanta. That's one to watch out for as well. I think his price is pretty good. Definitely seeming like a good tournament play. Teddy, if he plays, 5,500. Jacoby's 54 against New England. That is rough. Jameis is 54. Andy Dalton, 52 against Cincinnati. That's probably going to be a rougher one. Mariota's 53 against San Fran. That's going to be a rough one. Zach Wilson, 53 against the Green Bay. Also going to be a rough one. Matt Ryan, 53 against Jacksonville. I think that's not the worst thing. If the Colts offense can somehow manage to hold a block for more than half a second, I think that's going to be some interest there. Daniel Jones, 5,200 against Baltimore. That one's a good one there. Kenny Pickett, 52 against Tampa Bay. Interested to see what he does against another really good defense. Bailey Zappi, if he's the quarterback, we're looking at 51. Mac Jones, 52 if Jones is in. I think that's a good matchup for him. And then if Skylar Thompson's in, 5K against Minnesota. We go and look at Carolina to see P.J. Walker's price. I'm just going to go to the game really quick. P.J. Walker, 4,900 against the Rams. You could go back and look at P.J. Walker and what he's done as a starter, and I think it is impressive. So P.J. Walker might be a really good tournament play this week. That's something to definitely watch out for, having a sub 5K quarterback with running potential. Just go look at his stats and judge for yourself. Running backs, we have 3 at 8K or above. McCaffrey against the Rams, bad matchup. Chubb against New England, another rough matchup. And then Jonathan Taylor, if he plays against Jacksonville, 8K. I think if Taylor plays, he might be one of my favorite plays. I know what he did against Jacksonville. Week 2, 7.3 points, 9 carries for 54 yards, and only 1 target. I'm not buying that again. I'm sorry. I'm not buying that low production out of Taylor. Saquon, 77 against Baltimore. That's an interesting one. I think that's a pay down for what we've gotten on Barkley. Yeah, last 2 weeks. Obviously, he's not on the main slate, but 7,900 week 4 against Chicago, 8. So he goes down in price this week. Dalvin Cook, 7,500 against Miami. I think that's good price and a good matchup for him. Leonard Fournette, 7,400 against Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh does not win games without TJ Watt. Joe Mixon, Alvin Kamara, both couple rough matchups there. Basically at the same price. Both those defenses are fairly good against the run. Should be. So that's something to watch for. I don't really like that. Edwards-Helaire, don't love that matchup against Buffalo, that's for sure. Jeff Wilson against Atlanta, 6,200. I think that's a really good price. Really good matchup for him. James Robinson is at 61 against the Colts. I like James Robinson this week. I don't know if Connor's going to play. So that brings an opportunity for us. Ramondre Stevenson, though, 6K against Cleveland. That might be the play. Harris is out. 6K. Stevenson might be the play. Najee Harris, 6K against Tampa Bay. 11 carries for 20 yards. Gets those targets. They might have to use him in the pass game. We'll see, but that is a pay down for Najee Harris. Devin Singletary, 5,900 against Kansas City. That's a good price. I like that matchup, especially with what Jacobs is able to do, but getting some receptions, hopefully. Breece Hall, 5,800 against the Packers. Almost getting 200 yards. He was 3 rushing yards away from getting the rushing bonus on DK, and that would have put him up at about 33 DK points last week. That's something to watch out for. Kareem Hunt, 57 against New England. Keep going down. Raheem Mostert, 57 against Minnesota. I don't like touching that Miami backfield at all. A.J. Dillon, 5,600 against the Jets. I guess that's all right. Samaje Perine, they raised his price for whatever reason. Hines is 5,500. Just got to watch his injury news. He got hurt against Denver. So that might bring up another opportunity. J.K. Dobbins, a little sneak play at 5,500 against the Giants. I see that one right there. Ken Walker, 5,400 against Arizona. How is Samaje Perine 5,600 against New Orleans, but Ken Walker without Rashard Penny is 5,400 against Arizona? Make that make sense. Just make it make sense. 8 carries, 88 yards, no targets, gets a touchdown, 14 DK points last week. Like, you're just giving us plays. Like, that's, I can tell that's going to be a play. I can tell. Cam Akers 5,300 against Carolina. I really like that. There's some really good matchups this week I'm seeing at the running back. This definitely might be a 3 running back play Sunday. Deion Jackson, watch if Hines and Taylor. I hope Taylor's going to be in. If not, Deion Jackson did not look bad. Clearly against Denver. Denver's defense is good. I think Colts just made them look great. Tyler Algier, 5,100 against San Fran. Last week against Tampa Bay, 13 for 45. No receptions, no targets. Something to watch out for. I know he was really good. People wanted to pick him up for fantasy. Atlanta just has a really rough running schedule, and it's hard to face all these good rush defenses and put up points. Darrell Henderson, 51. Michael Carter, 5K. ETN, 5K. Keep going down. Huntley, 49, I guess. It's still a bad matchup. Chaco Edmonds down here at 48. Eno Benjamin, this is the play. So, I mentioned James Conner probably not playing. It looks like Eno Benjamin, if I had to guess, would take that spot. And you look at what he does last week. 8 carries, 25 yards, not impressive. Gets a rushing touchdown, though, which means that they trust him to do what they ask of James Conner, in a way. 3 receptions out of 4 targets, 28 yards. Definitely gets targets. So that's something else to watch out for. A 4,600 running back that could be in play. Watch that James Conner news. That will definitely strike some interest there. Let's go to wide receiver now. 3 wide receivers, or 2 above 8K and 1 above 9K. I mean, say 3 above 8K, but Cooper Kupp, 9,700 against Carolina. That's not the greatest. You're getting Justin Jefferson against Miami, though, and that's going to be a good matchup. I like that a lot. Stefon Diggs, 8,400 against Kansas City. Stefon Diggs is not one of those receivers like you look at Justin Jefferson really quickly. You look at Justin Jefferson, you look at his targets, you look at his yards. No, he's got 3 total touchdowns this year. 3. You're like, oh, where's his third? He had a rushing touchdown against New Orleans. But 3 touchdowns. Look at his yardage, though. 154, 147. 2 games, 14, 48. Yes, I see that. And then 184. And then let's go look at Stefon Diggs. Like 148, 122, 102, 62, 74. Gets those targets, 5 touchdowns. Stefon Diggs, I feel, just still never gets as talked about as being as an elite of receiver as he is, just because the Bills' offense is as good. People give credit to Diggs. I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, like, it's impressive how good Stefon Diggs is consistently. Jamar Chase, 7,700 against New Orleans. Clearly, there is an issue when T. Higgins is not there of what teams are capable of doing against Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd. I do like that matchup, though. 7,700, I do like that. Debo, I really like 7,600 against Atlanta. It's a good price, really good matchup. Watch the injury news of Tyreek Hill. If he's able to play, that's a good matchup. Hopefully, we get the quarterback situation figured out so we don't have to guess of who's going to throw the ball to Hill and Waddle. Marquis Brown against Seattle, 72. That's going to be a rough matchup, but I do think that he has... I mean, clearly, you look at his numbers that he's putting up recently. Marquis Brown is no joke. He is no joke right now. I think a lot of people had their doubts, but Marquis Brown is proving himself right now, and hopefully it only gets better when DeAndre Hopkins comes back next week. Mike Evans, top Tampa Bay receiver, 7K against Pittsburgh. Michael Pittman, 6,900 against Jacksonville. Remember, he wasn't there against them in their first matchup, so 6,900 there. DK Metcalf up to 6,800 against Arizona. I do like that matchup. Gabe Davis, 6,500 against Kansas City. 171 yards on 3 receptions and 2 touchdowns. Is Gabe Davis back? That's the question we're going to ask ourselves Sunday. T. Higgins against New Orleans. I really hope he plays. If he plays, then that becomes... Jamar Chase becomes really likable for me as a play Sunday. Jalen Waddle, 62. Not getting... Clearly, without Tua, it's going back to last year. You look at Waddle's numbers without Tua versus with Tua, and it's completely different. If Tua doesn't play, Waddle just... I don't love it. Chris Godwin, 6,100 against Pittsburgh. It's a good matchup there. Allen Lazard, 6K against the Jets. I like that. Adam Thielen, 5,900. I do like that as well. It's a good matchup. Christian Kirk against the Colts. Look at what he did week 2 against the Colts. Pretty good game. So it's definitely something to watch out for. I think the Colts defense is getting better, but it's hard to say. It really is. Deontay Johnson, 5,700 against Tampa Bay. It's clearly Pickens-Pickett show. It's a Pickens-Pickett. Try saying that a lot. Michael Thomas said he's going to play. That's what he said. Is he wants to play against Cincinnati, 5,600. Like his price there. If he does play, regardless of the matchup, I like that price. Tyler Lockett, 5,600 against Arizona. Like that as well. They're getting a connection. Gotta watch the injury news. This is crazy for New Orleans right now, is how many injuries they have. Look at their wide receiver room. Landry didn't play. Thomas didn't play. Olave had a concussion. Jameis is hurt, but Taysom Hill is there. So that's what matters. Let's go back down here. Brandon Ayuk, 5,400 against Atlanta. I really like that, and I wish San Fran gets Brandon Ayuk in their game script. Drake London, 5,400 against San Fran. I don't love that. Jacoby Myers, 5,300 against Cleveland. See who his quarterback is. I do like that if he is good to go. Rashard Bateman against the Giants, 52. I'm not totally sold on that, but if he plays, I might look at it, but I don't think I'm going to go near that in cash. Juju, 5,200 against Buffalo. Not the greatest. Tyler Boyd, 51. T. Higgins back. That helps that entire wide receiver room. DJ Moore's, Julio Jones, sorry, really quick, 5,100 against Pittsburgh. Hoping he plays finally. DJ Moore, 5,100 against the Rams. Garrett Wilson, 5K against Green Bay. DJ Moore, I don't know. It's hard to say. I'd have to go back and look at the numbers with PJ Walker. As of right now, I don't know if that's the greatest situation there. Garrett Wilson, 5K against Green Bay. I don't know if I want to touch that right now. Elijah Moore, 4,900. Allen Robinson down to 4,900. Weird. Romeo Doubs, 4,800 against the Jets. It's a good price. Corey Davis, 4,800. All the Jets receivers fairly close to each other. Devin Duvernay, 4,700. Obviously getting used a lot, especially without Bateman. Bateman's out. Definitely look at that play. Marvin Jones down there at 46. George Pickens, rough matchup. Don't get me wrong, rough matchup. Look at his last 2 weeks with Pickett, though. He's putting up some good numbers, so definitely watch for that one. Kadarius Toney, I really hope he plays. Still waiting for the Toney hype. Get Claypool, not interested in that. MVS, definitely not interested in that. Alec Pierce, 4,300. Finally has his breakout game. I've been waiting for it. It just seems like it's only going up. As you can see, the targets are going up. The yardage is going up. So, interested to see. I hope that they keep bringing trust into Alec Pierce. KJ Osborne, 4,300. Clearly, Justin Jefferson is doing enough to where KJ Osborne doesn't have to be included as much. But he's definitely a GPP play for me. Other than that, guys, it's a lot cheaper, the wide receivers. We're going to have to wait for injury news and stuff like that to really show wide receivers versus running backs. It's a lot easier to see. And then we have the tight ends back. Kelsey Andrews back on the main slate. Kelsey against Buffalo. Gonna have to see who's in for Buffalo. But obviously that one should be a good game regardless. Andrews against the Giants, 7K. Really good play. George Kittle, 5,100 against Atlanta. Really, 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 really good play for me. Really good play. Emphasis on the really. Zach Ertz, 4,900 against Seattle. I like that. Tyler Higbee, 46 against Carolina. I do like that as well. Kyle Pitts, if he plays, no. Njoku, no at 40 or at 4K. Fairmouth, no, 3,800 against Tampa Bay, even if he does play. Robert Tonyan, 36 against the Jets. I do like that one. Evan Ingram, 3,500 against the Colts. Watch Shaq Leonard. If he plays, not as much. If he's out, no. Or if Shaq Leonard is out, then yes. If he's in, then no for me. Dawson Knox, if he plays, 3,400. I like that. Watch the injury news for Tampa Bay. I like Cade Otton. I said it last week. He had an opportunity. 3,200. Daniel Bellinger being somehow included. And I will take it as much as I can. Interested to see where he goes off of his rookie year. Other than that, just some other value plays there, guys. You just watch injury news of other players, and then you determine if a tight end is good or not. I'm not going to go over the defenses. I'll let you guys figure out who you want to play defense. But I hope you guys did enjoy. Hope this did help. Like I said, I will try to make a video coming out Thursday going over cash plays. That's probably as far as I could go just based off of my work schedule. So if you guys did enjoy, like I said, leave a like and subscribe. If you guys are interested in joining us, the link for our Discord will be in the description down below. And very cheap subscription package for how good we've been this NFL season. So if you guys are interested in that, link for that will be in the description down below. And I will see you guys in the next one.